All right, 10:05 all the way live here in the city look, of Go to Work. And check this out. This is my new book. It is called Passion, the French, not my book as an author, but my new learning and training myself about wine. Passion, the French ideal and American dream for wine. This is the companion tasting journal. Okay, so I am learning about wine, and those of you that want to learn about wine with me, we're gonna have some fun over here at night. All right, learn about wine. So I'm going to share right now, first of all, that yes, indeed, if you want to be in business with wine going into the new year as well, you could check that out. Or if you just want to shop online, look how beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And we're going to learn more about wine. Okay, so you can go to the link that's in the description area. But for the time being, let me stop sharing here. And I think this is going to be fun for us. I didn't watch it all the way through, but just a few minutes because I said, I think this is going to be ideal. Learn with me. Absolutely. If you're on this journey with me about learning about wine, let's go to work. All right. So I thought this one would be fun. Absolutely. On YouTube, you can go here. I want to turn the music down right there. Just a second. All right, this is gonna be fun. I really think so. Look how neat and enthusiastic this presenter is right here.
There are thousands of different wine grapes and hundreds of thousands of unique labels. With this level of complexity, how do we even begin to make sense of wine to find what we like and choose it confidently? We have red wines, white wines, rosé wines, sparkling wines, and dessert wines. I'm going to show you what's popular and divulge some tips and tricks so you can enjoy the best wine experiences. Hey, what's up? It's Madeline from Wine Folly. Learning the major types of wine is an excellent primer, and if this whets your palate, check out Wine Folly's Wine 201 course. Get certified in the comfort of your own home. All right, let's get to it. Red wine. If this is the type of wine for you, you're not alone. Red wine is the most obsessed about and collected wine in our modern era. So what is it about red wine that makes it so obsession-worthy? Firstly, red wine is made with black skin grapes, which give red wine its color and flavor. How does it work? The grape skins basically soak in their juices while the wine ferments. The skins contain the magic. They have powerful antioxidants called tannins, which give red wine its ability to age. Some red wines will improve over a course of 30 years. And while we're talking tannins, I gotta mention that they actually taste pretty astringent, but they're probably one of the only traits in wine that's good for you. So drink up. Finally, most red wines are dry, as in not sweet, with a few notable exceptions, but I'll talk about those later. What red wines should you get to know? Well, here's the short list. Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, and Merlot, and Pinot Noir all originate from France. Garnacha and Tempranillo come from Spain. Sangiovese is Italian. Today, these grapes are distributed all around the world and grow in many regions, but each originated from a classic red wine region, and you're going to recognize these names. Bordeaux is the region that made Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot famous. These Bordeaux blends taste full-bodied with high tannin and are your classic steak pairing wines. Hermitage put Syrah on the map. Syrah is big and bold, but the finish tends to be a bit more rounded, making it a great match for lamb and roast pork. By the way, a great place to look for Syrah is actually in Australia, where it's called Shiraz. Côte de Rhône features Grenache prominently in the blend. It's rich with red berry fruits, and it's one of my favorite French red wines to recommend for beginners. Rioja is the Spanish mecca of Tempranillo. These savory red wines become smooth and smoky as they age in oak barrels. Chianti in Tuscany is Sangiovese Central. Sangiovese is more spicy and savory, and it happens to match perfectly with tomato-based sauces and Italian food. Burgundy grows Pinot Noir. Pinot is easy to love because of its smooth, soft tannins, but perhaps the hardest wine to truly understand because of its subtleties depending on where it grows. Now that we know the major red wine varieties, here are some clues to find your style. Number one most important thing is to pay attention to where the wine is from. Warm, sunny climates tend to produce wines that are more fruit-forward, whereas cool climates make more tart and herbal wines. Unless you're an avid cook, avoid pairing red wine with fish. A study in 2009 showed that the iron content in red wine will exacerbate that fishy flavor. Red wines taste best served in a larger glass, which collects the aromas and distributes tannins evenly across your palate. Finally, red wines with higher tannins pair best with foods with higher fat and salt content. And this is where we get the magic of the steak and red wine pairing. White wine. Despite the fact that everyone obsesses about red wine, white wine remains the most consumed by volume type of wine in America today. What makes white wine so crushable? Foundationally, white wine is made with yellow grapes. The secret to the process for most white wines is to crush the grapes and to ferment them without their skins. The lack of skins makes white wines taste much less bitter, with delicate flavors of flowers and citrus fruits. Without skin contact, white wines generally don't age as long. But I should tell you, there are a few notable exceptions to this rule. Here's a short list of the most popular white wines you better know. Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Gris, and Chenin Blanc come from France. Riesling is German. Albarino is from the Iberian Peninsula. That's Spain and Portugal. And Garganega grows in Italy. These grapes are now grown throughout the world, just like with our red wines, but they also originated from classic white wine regions, which you might recognize. For example, Burgundy Blanc, that's Chardonnay. It's currently one of the most in-demand white wines in the world. It comes in two styles, a full-bodied oak style with cream and buttery notes and a lean green appley unoaked style. In Germany, the Moselle Valley is famous for Riesling. With both dry and sweet styles, you can always expect them to have these stone fruit and minerality flavors. In northern Portugal, Vinho Verde features Albarino. This citrus and saline wine is a perfect match for seafood. In the Loire Valley, Savennières is a secret to sommeliers for age-worthy Chenin Blanc. Still, you'll love the citrus and stone fruit-driven Chenin from South Africa. Northern Italy is all about Pinot Grigio for this lean, minerally Italian seafood wine. Finally, the medieval walled village of Soave in Italy is surrounded by vineyards of Garganega. The Soave Classico wines are lean and zesty on release, but become richer and more peachy as they age. Okay, so those were some major white wine varieties. Here are some clues to find your style. Check for oak aging. Whether or not the wine was aged in oak greatly affects the taste. Oak aging adds vanilla-like notes and is associated with creamy, buttery richness in white wines. Get to know the aromatic varieties. I'm talking Gewürztraminer, Torrontés, Riesling. Many of them smell sweet, but the trend is increasingly to make them dry wines. Definitely worth a try. Serve white wine in smaller glasses. This smaller glass preserves the temperature and floral aromas in these wines. Finally, pair white wine with lighter foods. Think chicken, tofu, salad, fresh herbs, seafood, and cream sauces, and you're gonna do fantastic. Rosé wine. This has been the fastest growing category of wine in the last 15 years. And we can thank Provence in France for popularizing their unique style of rosé, which is crisp, dry, and served like a white wine. What makes rosé special is that it uses black skin grapes for the color. But instead of fermenting on the skins for the whole time, the juice sits for just a short while, sometimes only a few hours, to create the pale pink color. This means you can find a rosé made with almost any red grape out there, although there are some classic favorites. Provence rosé is typically a blend of a kitchen sink of red and white wine varieties that grow indigenously in that region. I would recommend looking for Côte de Provence for a bump up in quality. Pinot Noir rosé is highly popular because that grape is already so light and delicate. I'm personally blown away by Italian Rosato, made with Sangiovese. For some reason, this grape makes the most incredible onion skin colored rosé. There are many more to try, so my guess to you is to go out, find your favorite rosé, and then find out what grapes were used in it. You're gonna find more like it. Sparkling wine. Sparkling wine goes with breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's the ultimate celebration wine and it even pairs well with fried chicken. Either way you look at it, the main feature that sets sparkling wines apart is a secondary fermentation, which is how we get those bubbles. In theory, you could use any wine as a base wine to make sparkling wine, but the standard has been set by some classic sparkling wine regions. And you know the first one, Champagne. This northern French wine region uses Chardonnay and Pinot grapes to make rosé and white sparkling wines. Then we have Prosecco. Prosecco comes from northern Italy and it's fruity with frothy bubbles and yeasty notes from the winemaking process. There are more than that to explore. Cava in Spain, French Porta from Italy, Cap Classique from South Africa, Cremant from anywhere else in France that's not Champagne, and so many more. So here's what you need to know to choose a great bottle of bubbly. Find your sweetness level. The nomenclature for sweetness in sparkling wine is totally counterintuitive. Brut means dry, and dry actually means off dry. So try them both to understand where your preferences lie. Pay attention to production method. Those using the champagne method or traditional method develop rich, bready, toasty flavors through extended bottle aging on tirage. So a wine with more age is generally considered a good thing. Prosecco, on the other hand, is mostly loved for its floral and fruit aromas which dissipate as the wine ages. Thus, most Prosecco is best drunk young as possible. Use white wine glasses. Sparkling wine has evolved a great deal, and so has how it's served. Today, the best glass to enjoy sparkling wine looks more similar to a white wine glass than a flute. Dessert wines. Before dry wines turned our heads in the 1800s, sweet wines ruled the world. Although not all dessert wines are sweet, and this category is actually really complex because it involves so much of our wine history and culture. Dessert wines enlist a myriad of winemaking techniques, from late harvesting ice wine fortification, adding spirits, and aromatization, adding botanicals and herbs. Here are probably the most important dessert wines to know and try and explore. Port is a fortified sweet red wine from Portugal. Sherry comes in both sweet and dry styles, made in southern Spain. Marsala, it's fortified too, and it's from Sicily. Madeira is another fortified wine coming from a tiny island in the Atlantic Ocean. Vermouth is both fortified and aromatized with botanicals and herbs. Late harvest wines happen when the grapes are picked late in the season. Here are two great examples. We have Sauternes from Bordeaux and Tokai in Hungary. Ice wine is made when the grapes freeze on the vine. Vinsanto is a specialty from Italy, and the grapes are so sweet that it can take up to 4 years to properly ferment. So there you have it. That is my brain dump on the 5 major types of wine, which will unlock thousands of grapes and regional specialties for you to explore. And if you want to know more about wine, check out Wine Folly's Wine 201 course. This certification course brings you a deep level of wine knowledge, which will serve you throughout your entire life. And until next time, happy tasting. Peace out.
some. Absolutely. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I know I did. Thought that was a great. Absolutely. Let me get back on here. I thought that was a great presentation, and it was so much information in that. You definitely want to rewind it, and I'll put the link to that video there. And I just wanted to read this first paragraph in my new book. It's still new because I haven't opened it. Absolutely. So, meaning that I've been in this business a little while. So, the fundamentals of wine tasting. Drinking wine is a pure pleasure, but one that can be difficult to describe in words. Navigating the wine world becomes easier once we know what to look for as we taste different wines and how to describe the variations in how they taste. Absolutely. And then I want to say here that I want to give you a little music right there in the last two sentences here. By adopting a consistent tasting technique and by using a simple sensory checklist, wine's most fundamental qualities can be assessed one sense at a time, enabling us to evaluate each new wine and to describe the traits we most enjoy. Well, the last sentence, actually, that was complex sentence. All right. Well, until next time, our time of learning about wine. Have a great, great time.